Yo, Elliot, I used to be numero uno, top dog in my crew. Then the pandemic hit and we all sort of split up. My friends, they stayed together, but I was questioning authority, questioning social norms, and spending some more time trying to decide what I really valued in life. Later on, the pandemic ended and I got back with the dudes, but they sort of were different and so was I. And it turned out that I lost all my authority, all my charisma, all of my established place in the crew. No longer leader, I was on the bottom of the totem pole. What do I do? So, if you've been watching old Uncle Yo for long enough, you might remember there was a time that I was top dog too. Numero uno on YouTube. And I was growing real fast. A lot of people loved me. I was kind of a golden boy for a while. But as with all things, it comes to an end. And so towards 2016, I decided I wanted to split and I wanted to grow on my own a little bit without being in front of the camera and being old or young Yo at the time. And as a result, I grew in different ways than most of my audience. And you might say I fell out of grace. So I totally understand what you're saying. And you also seem to liken it onto something I've spoken about in previous videos related to the 12-year cycle. You were 24, I was 36. So there's certain strange things that happen when you reach the top of the clock. And that is, you are often going to be forced, unless you consciously choose, to let go of the old you. And that's exactly what happened, dude. And it's a good thing because there's an ego or a version of you that was proper for a particular stage in your life. The same way the 12-year-old you was no longer resourceful for the 24-year-old you, the 24-year-old Elliot Hulse was not appropriate for the 36-year-old Elliot Hulse. Over the course of that cycle, you became who you needed to be in order to deal with the pressures of the environment you were in. And so your ego builds a construct around the people, the circumstances, the ideas, and the environment that you are being molded in at that time. But then there is a calling home. And when you get to the top of the clock, you really get an opportunity to take a look at whether or not where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm going to move forward in the next phase of life, what do I need to let go of? And right now, it's kind of easy for you because God is showing you, oh, these friends aren't for you. And it was the same thing with me. Whatever character I had developed that made me very popular at the time that I was peaking was no longer resourceful for the man I was meant to be. And so I made a video around that time called You Gotta Die Before You Die. And it's all about ego death. And so we got to be as detached as we possibly can from the circumstances, the people, the places, and the things that are attracted to us based on an old version of ourselves. And we got to remember that when we move into a new phase of life, that we're not just being asked to let go of the old, but we're opening space for the new. There's something new in you that's growing. There's a new world that's being opened. And if you're still holding on to old stuff, old people, old ideas, old circumstances, old personalities that no longer suit where you're being called to, you're going to miss because you're going to be too filled up with old stuff to be able to invite in the new. And so my advice to you, my man, is to let go. You know that your friends aren't the same friends that you left, and they look at you and they say, you changed too, dude. It's no longer a good match. The problem is you're still attached. So you got to let go. Let go and be open. One of the scariest things for the ego is death. And that means you got to say to yourself or look in the mirror at the old version of you, or like I do, I look at old videos of myself and say, cool, I like that dude, but he's dead. He no longer exists. Not because he was bad, but because he's not resourceful for what's next. Keep thinking about what's next. Burn bridges, bro. I know that sounds crazy, but you got to move on. And that means let go of the past and be open. Don't reach. Don't try to go get what's next. Open yourself up and relax, then allow it to come to you, dude. Done.